So, guys, live after Erik Ten Hag begins for Manchester United. After Erik Ten Hag was sacked by Manchester United yesterday afternoon, life begins after the former current manager, Erik Ten Hag, who is no longer here as Manchester United's manager. And Ruud van Nistelrooy obviously will be in interim charge for this Carabao Cup game against Leicester City at Old Trafford tomorrow evening, where many people are expecting Ruud van Nistelrooy and many of the coaching staff obviously will lead Manchester United out for tomorrow's Carabao Cup home game at Old Trafford. And it will be the only and first game that Ruud van Nistelrooy will be in interim charge of Manchester United, with the full expectation of Ruben Amorim, the Sporting Lisbon's current manager, will be Manchester United's new manager going into Sunday evening against Chelsea again at Old Trafford. It's back-to-back home games for Manchester United. Obviously, we are on manager number 9 in 11 years. It's not exactly brilliant. It's pretty embarrassing. It's pretty sad, and it's pretty pathetic, the levels that Manchester United have fallen to over the last 11 years. I didn't expect the fall off to be this dramatic, and I didn't expect Manchester United to be sacking manager after manager. And obviously, with Ruud van Nistelrooy in interim charge of Manchester United, I just want a good performance. I want us to get through to the next round of the Carabao Cup. I want to see these Manchester United players perform. Obviously, a lot of these players now will be facing the backlash from the fans and the supporters ahead of tomorrow night's game. A lot of the fans and supporters are pretty fed up with these players. We're pretty fed up with this squad. And I think the trust that we had for these players is yet again gone. I don't want this season to be a downward spiral. I want Manchester United to put some kind of performance in tomorrow night. Obviously, the players are currently in training today under Ruud van Nistelrooy and Rene Heck, obviously the two coaches that were brought in under Erik Ten Hag. And it's going to be a sign of change. It's going to be a sign of difference, and it's going to be a sign of where these Manchester United players' heads are at, knowing that they've basically gotten their own way again. They've got yet again another manager sacked, and yet again these players are getting away with absolute crap. Once again, that they've basically, the player power that we were trying to get rid of has all of a sudden rekindled itself into that Manchester United dressing room. A lot of these players have won. They've gotten their own way. And a lot of these players that were Erik Ten Hag signings, I do fully expect the club will try to shift in the January transfer window. And I think a lot of these players that Erik Ten Hag brought will be given another lifeline. A lot of these players will be given another chance, and a lot of these players will be given another, will be given a chance to prove themselves, because these players have basically given up. The white flag has been waved. They've thrown away the rest of the season. There's pretty much no point Manchester United trying to go for anything for the rest of the season, because the season is practically over. I can't see Ruud van Nistelrooy making an impact very quickly. But it's going to be interesting to see what team Ruud van Nistelrooy will go for tomorrow night. It'll be interesting to see what changes he makes. It'll be interesting to see what tactical approach he goes with. And it'll be interesting to see what Ruud van Nistelrooy can do for Manchester United in only one game, because it's going to be one game and one game only. This will be his only game in charge on an interim basis, because, like I said, the expectation, Ruben Amorim, the Sporting Lisbon manager, will become the next manager of Manchester United, which I'm really, really excited for. I'm really excited to see what he can do for this football club. I'm excited to see the direction we will go in under his leadership. But a lot of these players, again, I don't want to see some of these players that played against West Ham playing tomorrow night. A lot of those players have got Erik Ten Hag the sack. A lot of these players are to blame for Erik Ten Hag's dismissal, and a lot of these players are to blame for the results. I think the players, once one defeat happens, the heads drop, the morale drops, the confidence goes, and the players basically can't be bothered to try anymore. And I think, what I look at those players at the moment, I don't think Ruud van Nistelrooy is going to be taking any prisoners. I think Ruud van Nistelrooy is exactly the type of interim manager we needed to go with for this next game. I obviously, he isn't here for the long term. He's here for the short term. And I fully expect that Ruud van Nistelrooy, Rene Heck, and the coaching staff that Erik Ten Hag brought in will all be sacked come tomorrow afternoon, where I fully expect Ruben Amorim to be Manchester United's new manager, possibly tomorrow afternoon, possibly tomorrow evening, and he will be in charge for the Sunday's game against Chelsea. And I wouldn't be surprised if there is a new manager bounce. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a new manager expectation that Ruud van Nistelrooy tries to be a bit more lenient, a bit more open, a bit more approachable. I think Ruud van Nistelrooy knows exactly what it takes for Manchester United to win. I think Ruud van Nistelrooy knows exactly the style of play we need to introduce. And I think Ruud van Nistelrooy gets what, Manchester United are about, because obviously he is a club legend. He's done a lot for this football club. He was a fantastic player under Sir Alex Ferguson, and he won many trophies and many titles as a Manchester United player. And obviously, I didn't want Ruud van Nistelrooy in interim charge. I'm still very sceptical of how we've not got a new manager yet, and how slow we've been to try and get this announcement done that Ruben Amorim will take over. I just want Ruud van Nistelrooy to go out with a win. I just want Ruud van Nistelrooy to show, do you know what? He's done what he's tried to do. He's tried to be a bit more open and a bit more approachable towards these players, and he's been a bit more, open with the performances and the lack of consistency. And I think the lack of performances, been very clear to the naked eye. For most of this season, a lot of the performances aren't good enough, and I think Ruud van Nistelrooy gets the frustration. I think he gets the disappointment, and I think he gets the anger that Manchester United fans and supporters are all feeling. It's been a very, very shit season. We are nearly at Christmas. We are 11 points from 27 in the league. We are 3 points from 9 in our first 3 Europa League games. And again, we are relying on the Carabao Cup. And again, that is not what I want. That's not what I really want to be focusing on. I want to be focusing on trying to somehow get top 4 and maybe somehow from somewhere get into a title race, which is completely non-existent. I just can't see this being turned around very quickly. I think Manchester United, again, are on a downward spiral of negativity. I can't see these players being up for it. I can't see these players trying for any manager that comes into this football club to put a new balance of play into the Manchester United dressing room. And I just can't see any manager that we get trying to get these players on side. I don't believe whatever manager we get in the future, even after Ruben Amorim, because this has got to work, isn't it? The new manager has got to be making an instant impact straight away. I don't want to hear the words project. I don't want to hear long-term vision. I want expectation and I want commitment. I want some desire, and I want Manchester United to be winning straight away on the pitch. I don't want to be hearing excuses. I don't want to be saying it's going to take 3 or 4 years for Manchester United to get back to where they need to be. Manchester United need to be winning games of football. Manchester United need to be aiming for the best. Manchester United need to be in a title race. We need to be getting Champions League football. We need to be in some of the cups. Manchester United's ambition this season was keep Ten Hag and hope it all goes well. Unfortunately, keeping Erik Ten Hag was the incorrect decision. Even I said at the time, I wanted Erik Ten Hag to succeed. I wanted it to work out. I wanted Erik Ten Hag to be the long-term manager of this football club. And unfortunately, the ambition, I think the frustration and some of the comments and some of the stuff that is coming in today about Erik Ten Hag on the way he handled all the situations that he was put in at Manchester United. Again, maybe sacking Erik Ten Hag was the correct decision. Maybe sacking Erik Ten Hag was the correct thing to do. I think, long-term longevity has to come in to this football club where we need to be back to where we want to be. And that's being the best team in European football, in world football, and in the Premier League. We want to be the best club we can be. But I just don't trust these players to be able to get on board. I've lost all trust for these players because the players aren't been performing. They've not been trying. They've not been really giving a fuck if I'm being really honest with you. But again, it wouldn't surprise me now that Erik Ten Hag's gone. Expect a new manager bounce. Expect that, now Ten Hag's gone, we'll make out that he's the villain. We'll make out that Ten Hag was always the problem. We'll make out that Ten Hag was the main factor on why we're doing so shit. Let's make out that Ten Hag was the main attribute to our downward spiral this season. Let's make Ten Hag look like the bad guy. I think I do have some kind of sympathy for Erik Ten Hag. I think it's not all his fault. I think half these players are also to blame for his sacking and his dismissal. And these players are to blame for the results because the players are not performing on the pitch. The players have given up. I think they don't like the criticism. When the going gets tough, they give up. And when they get crucified on social media, they take it heart to heart. They take it personally. And they can't take the crap that they get. And they think they're bigger and better than the football club. They think they're bigger than anyone else. Their egos are incredible. And these players, again, have got to earn back the trust. These players have got to earn back our loyalty. They've got to earn back our love for them, and they've got to earn a lot more and more. They've got to learn that you lot have been a disgrace to the shirt. You've been a disgrace to the badge. You've got, again, another manager sacked. We're on 9 managers in 11 years, which is a disgrace. Ruben Amorim will become the 10th manager of this football club. So I feel for Ten Hag that these players have massively, massively let him down. These players have, they have thrown in the towel. They have given up when the going has got tough. When we can see goals, the morale drops, the heads drop, and we basically surrender. We don't even bother to try and win back the game. And we don't even try to bother to find at least a point, at least a win, or even some kind of result to turn this current sinking ship around. And Man United are a sinking ship. We are a sinking ship. It's very, very embarrassing. And all I want on Wednesday, what I want to see tomorrow evening, is some kind of response. I want to see where these players are at. And what would really, really piss me off and what would really frustrate me is if we manage to put in some kind of world-class performance tomorrow night and these players start turning into prime Real Madrid or prime Barcelona, it will massively frustrate me because I'll be questioning, where has this been all season? Where have these type of performances been against, the bigger and better teams? Where has this effort been? Where has this dedication been? Where has this passion been? Why has this been held back for so long? And maybe it was Erik Ten Hag, maybe Erik Ten Hag's regime and his training methods were to blame for the way Manchester United were off the pitch. And on the pitch, it wasn't improving. And obviously, keeping Erik Ten Hag was a mistake. We should have sacked him in the summer, no matter if he won the FA Cup or not. Even I said it was the correct decision at the time to keep him. But it took 3 weeks to make a manager decision. It took 3 fucking weeks of Manchester United to make their fucking minds up. And Manchester United are in a big mess. We are in a mess that I didn't see coming. I thought Erik Ten Hag was the one to guide the club back to full glory. And I hold my hands up. I got it wrong. I apologise. I thought Erik Ten Hag, was going to be able to do a good job. And unfortunately, it's not worked out. And what I want to see from Ruud van Nistelrooy, I want to see these players being able to fight. I want to be able to see these players pressure the opposition. I want these players to fight for every tackle. I want to see these players fight for every ball. I want to see these players fight for every opportunity they get in front of that Leicester goal, because since Leicester City have been back in the Premier League, it's been very, very up and down for them. Obviously, when you lose Enzo Maresca, the manager that got you straight back to the Premier League as championship champions of the Sky Bet Championship, and he leaves for Chelsea, I feared for Leicester City. I still fear for them now. I think Leicester City season so far has been an absolute roller coaster of highs, lows, and quite a lot of up and down emotions for the Leicester City fans and supporters, because when Enzo Maresca walked out on them, which I think was in very bad taste, I feared for Leicester City. I still fear for them now because I don't think Steve Cooper is the manager that Leicester City fans really want in charge of their football club. I feel like Leicester City fans have been absolutely cheated by Enzo Maresca, and I feel like they've been absolutely left red in the face, because what he did for that football club to get them back to where they were now is incredible. Like, you never really expect to promote a relegated team to come straight back up to the Premier League. You don't really expect that to happen. And what he did for Leicester was they were dominating the Championship. They were winning every game. They were fighting for every point. They were fighting for every goal, and they were battering the opposition. And I think, the Premier League life is coming back to haunt them. And I think that is down to Enzo Maresca not being at Leicester. And it's not the only problem Leicester have got. I think losing a player like Dewsbury Hall was a massive, massive mistake to let Dewsbury Hall go. And obviously, you're not going to turn down Chelsea. You're not going to turn down European football. And you're probably not going to turn down the type of money Dewsbury Hall was offered on a weekly basis to be a Chelsea player. And obviously, Dewsbury Hall is a fantastic young player. I wanted him at Manchester United. I was a big fan of what he did for Leicester in a Leicester City shirt. He was their best midfielder. He was their talisman. He was their leader. He was their main goal scorer in their team. And he created a lot of opportunities for Leicester in the Championship last season. And that is why Leicester were getting so many wins. That is why Leicester were getting so many points. That is why Leicester were top of the Championship from day fucking one. And I knew Leicester would come straight back up because they were too good for the Championship. They've got the parachute payments. Enzo Maresca was a very unknown manager. Enzo Maresca wasn't exactly a manager that anyone knew a lot about. And obviously Leicester City took a gamble, and that gamble did pay off. And obviously since he's gone, for me, again, He's obviously accepted a big pay rise. He's obviously taken a big job as the Chelsea manager. And I think for me, it's probably working all right for Chelsea so far. I think Chelsea are doing fantastically well under Enzo Maresca this season. I think again Chelsea are a very, very up and down club. One week is a win, one week it's a draw, or one week is a defeat. Chelsea are still quite inconsistent, and I think Enzo Maresca has got a big squad. He's got a big list of players at Chelsea. And I think what he had at Leicester, he had a squad that he was able to work with by not splashing the cash on world major class signings on quite good quality players. And at Chelsea, it's basically open checkbook. And obviously, the position that Maresca has left Leicester in, it's a very precarious one. Leicester are in a relegation fight. Leicester are fighting to avoid relegation straight back to the Championship after only coming back to the Prem for one season. I don't want Leicester to go down. I think they're a class act in the Premier League. They're the former Premier League champions when they won it under Claudio Ranieri, when you had lots of Jamie Vardy, N'Golo Kante, Riyad Mahrez, and the likes of many more. And obviously, since then, it's basically fallen apart, I think. The season after Ranieri was sacked, when they were the defending Premier League champions, it all went horribly wrong. It didn't work out under Brendan Rodgers. That went pear-shaped. I mean, they won the FA Cup and they won the Community Shield under him. But when it started getting tough, Leicester were in a very, very dodgy fight. And when they missed out on being a Champions League club again, which they were aiming for, they ended up in the Europa League. And that didn't go very well either. And obviously, Leicester were then in a mass relegation fight. They got into the bottom three. They sacked Brendan Rodgers way through the season and ended up getting relegated. They should have never been relegated. Leicester were cheated out by certain clubs like Everton, who are getting away with breaching financial fair play every fucking season and managing to get away with it. And the Premier League are massively, massively covering up for Everton. I can't stand that football club. I can't stand the way they operate. And I can't really stand half their fans and supporters. I think they're in the clouds. I think they're in dreamland of how great they think Everton actually are. But again, Everton should have gone that season. Everton should have been relegated. It shouldn't have been Leicester. But again, that's what cheats do. That's what cheating clubs like Everton do. They will cheat the system and they'll let the Premier League cover up for them. And I think, when Leicester got relegated, they're always a club that, it's going to be one or two things. You either go into the Championship and you go down again, or you fight for mid-table, or you get into the playoffs, or you go and fight for the title. You fight to get back in the Prem. And that's what Leicester did. But I think, obviously, losing Dewsbury Hall and Enzo Maresca was a big loss for Leicester. And I think that is why they're now struggling. I think that is why they are now fighting where they are. And I don't think Steve Cooper was the right appointment. And they don't really have a recognised striker, because obviously Jamie Vardy is getting on now. Patson Daka is very in and out the team as well. And the only type of quality player that I would probably take at that Leicester team would be Mavididi. I'm a big fan of him. I would have him at Manchester United. I think he's a great young versatile winger that has got the potential to be a world-class winger at a bigger and better club in his future career. I think he's probably Manchester United's biggest threat going forward for tomorrow night's game. I think he's got the quality to be able to pose a threat for them. I think he can get our back four, which again is very in and out at the moment due to the fact the injuries, we aren't going to hear that excuse anymore. We aren't going to hear that, the injuries are a problem. It's fucking up our season. That's why we're not performing. That's why we're winning on the pitch. I'm glad those excuses are going to go out the window, because that is all Erik ten Hag came out with in his final days as Man United manager. The injuries are a problem. The injuries are screwing us up. The injuries aren't getting us to where we need to be. At the end of the day, you've still got players that can be able to do the job. But unfortunately, the players we've got available are still not at the level. And I think that is going to be a very, very big concern for Ruben Amorim when he takes over. There's a lot of players at that football club that are massively up their own ass. And a lot of those players, unfortunately, will feature tomorrow night. That is my big concern. That is my big, big reality worry, that a lot of these players have been given a lifeline. And again, under Rude, he needs to pinpoint where the problems are in our team, because there's a lot of snakes, there's a lot of problematic players, and there's a lot of players who don't give a shit, and a lot of players who don't want to play for that football club, who are taking a wage and a weekly living out of this football club, who should be never, ever playing for Manchester United again. I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it. I just want those players who are the problematic players out of this football club for good. I want them gone. And I'm hoping Ruud van Nistelrooy can pinpoint those problematic players. We all know who they all are. We know exactly the selfish bastards in that team. We know exactly the players that are the snakes in that dressing room. And we know exactly the players who should never be featuring a Man United shirt. And with the news today that, again, we've got no... and Shariah in the chat says, do you think Ruud is going to stay when Ruben arrives? All the coaching staff, as what I've been told and what I know, all the coaching staff are going. All the Sporting Lisbon coaching staff are coming with Ruben Amorim. So please subscribe in the live chat to the channel if you're new. All the coaching staff that are coming from Sporting Lisbon are coming to Manchester United. I expect all the coaching staff that was brought in by Erik ten Hag are all going to be gone by at least tomorrow or Thursday, because they want Ruben Amorim in quite quickly. And it's good that Man United have got that manager, but it's still not official yet that that appointment has been made. But yeah, your question is that if the coach is Ruud going to stay, I fully expect Ruud van Nistelrooy to be gone. I think René Heck will be gone. I can't see any of those two Pratt. Well, I'm not calling Ruud van Nistelrooy a Pratt, but what has he actually done in his coaching career? Like, what's he actually done realistically for PSV when he was their manager? What's he actually realistically done? It's not exactly done a lot to get anyone off their seat. But I respect him as a player. He's a legend of this football club. But for me as a coach, I don't really see that expectation. So, yeah, all the Sporting Lisbon coaching staff are coming with Ruben Amorim. All the coaching staff we've currently got are going. And we are going to have to pay them off. And again, you know, it's money. At the end of the day, get over it. You can't use money as an excuse. So Man United have clearly had money to sack Ten Hag, and they've clearly had money to get Ruben Amorim from Sporting Lisbon as the new manager. So money has been clearly there to be spent. Where's this money coming from? I don't know. Is it getting put on the debt? I don't know. But again, like I said, I hope Ruud van Nistelrooy goes out of a bang tomorrow night. I really hope Ruud van Nistelrooy can give the fans a send-off that we all are looking for. And that is basically just to take this Leicester City team apart, because they do concede a lot of goals. Like in their last Premier League game against Nottingham Forest, they got back into it. They went 1-0 down, conceded the second, conceded the third. There was no coming back from that Leicester City side. And that is, again, because of the mentality. That is because of the tactical approach that Steve Cooper is inheriting at Leicester. It's not balancing the play. They don't have a recognised striker, and they don't really have a striker now that can put the ball in the back of the net on a consistent basis. And the problem with that is, if you rely on Jamie Vardy, you're expecting Jamie Vardy to do that in the Championship and take it back to the Prem. His age is catching up with him. He is not going to be a consistent striker for Leicester City much longer, and that is Leicester's big problem. Their biggest threat is Mavrodidi. I look at the rest of that Leicester City team, and it doesn't concern me. It doesn't worry me. And the problem with Leicester, they had all this money to come back to the Premier League. Where's all that money gone? Where's that money gone from the Kin and Dewsbury Hall sale? Where's that Dewsbury Hall money gone? You've got to question that from a Leicester City fan point of view. Where's that Dewsbury Hall money gone? Because it makes no sense to me. Logically, they sold him for quite a lot of money, and now they're fighting relegation again with the bottom clubs. And they're even fighting with us, because 11 points from 27 from 9 Premier League games isn't good enough. I'm afraid it isn't. It's pretty shit. So, again, I do expect Man United to win, because their expectation is new manager bounce. Let's go out and perform. Let's show what we can do with Erik ten Hag no longer managing us. And that's what will annoy me. We'll start seeing Rashford perform. We'll start seeing Bruno perform. We'll start seeing Eriksen perform. We'll start seeing Casemiro perform. We'll start seeing a prime right back in left back in Delo. We'll start seeing consistent performances from Onana. We'll start seeing Rashford turn into the Rashford he was under season 1 under Ten Hag. That's what will annoy me. And that is the question I've got for a lot of these players. Do I expect most of the team that started against West Ham to start again tomorrow? Yes, I do. I can't see Rashford getting dropped. I can't see Delo getting dropped. I can't see Onana getting dropped. I can't see Eriksen or Casemiro getting dropped. But I think Ruud van Nistelrooy has got to inherit a squad that is completely dead on its knees. Ruud van Nistelrooy has got to make changes for tomorrow night. He's got to. He's got to go in there and make a statement and call out these players that have been the Ten Hag problem. Rashford needs to be dropped. I would drop Delo. I would drop Casemiro, and I would fucking drop Eriksen. I wouldn't have those four anywhere near that team tomorrow night. I would make a statement of intent saying, do you know what? You four are done. You're not playing for this club anymore. I'm not going to let you ruin tomorrow night's performance. And do you know what? I'm going to send a message that you players, you certain four, have been the problem. This is why Ten Hag's gone. This is why Ten Hag was sacked. This is why I'm taking charge of you, because you players have let me down. You players have got Ten Hag sacked. You players have given up. You players aren't putting in the performances. You players aren't being elite. You're fucking professional footballers who earn stupid wages a week, stupid money a week. And where's Ten Hag gone? Got him sacked, didn't you? So if you think you're going to cause me a problem tomorrow night, you're not, because I'm going to drop you, because you've not been performing. You've not been stepping up. Rashford hasn't been the same player since the Barnsley game when we battered them 7-0. And again, no disrespect to Barnsley, their fans, the support of their football club. They're in fucking League One battling mid-table football under Darryl Clark. The ex-Bristol Rovers, Cheltenham and Port Vale reject. Like, we were going to beat Barnsley. We were going to win that game by an absolute mile, and it was going to be a cricket score. Like, it could have been 8, it could have been 9, it could have been 10, but you're playing League One opposition. Rashford's not been the same since then, and I don't know why. But again, I don't see Rashford getting used tomorrow. I would bench him and start Garnacho on the left and put Ahmad on the right. I think Ahmad was unfairly treated by Ten Hag. I don't know why he didn't get given a chance. I don't know why Ahmad didn't see a lot of game time. I don't know why Ahmad wasn't used enough. I don't get why Ahmad Diallo was treated the way he was treated, because he's the answer on our right wing. For me, the front three for the future, I'm going to keep banging my drum, should be Garnacho, Højlund, Ahmad. That should be the front three. That should be the way that forward attacking line should be going forward for this football club, because they're all young, they're all versatile, they're all still quite young, they're all still quite developing, and they've still got a lot to learn about, being a consistent player. But for me, if you think about it, I want that. That's what I want. And that will send a statement to Rashford. And I think Eriksen should start, as he's obviously overperforming. See, I don't think Eriksen offered a lot against West Ham. I thought Eriksen was pretty useless on Sunday. And I don't think Eriksen, in my view, even though I respect your view and I respect your opinion, it's a great comment. Please do subscribe. I respect your view. I respect your comment. But what did Eriksen do against West Ham? What did Eriksen offer that midfield? There's no energy left in him, because he played 96 minutes. Was it against Fenerbahce? And then he played... Did he play 75, 80 odd minutes against West Ham? So that's nearly 178 to 180 minutes of football that Eriksen has been playing. And again, we haven't got midfield options. Again, the midfield is a big fucking problem. I think Man United, in hindsight, should have got Rabiot on a free. Why we didn't do that was idiotic, because you could have got him for free. I don't care how much he wanted a week. I don't care how much his agent, which was his mum, what she wanted. I don't care how much money she wanted. And I don't care how much Rabiot wanted a week. That extra midfield option should have been added to that midfield roster, because we've got no Mainu. We've got no Mount, because Mainu's out for a month. Mount is still out injured. God knows when he's going to be back. And all we've got is Fernandes, Eriksen and Casemiro. And they've got a midfielder who I expect to be given a lot of game time now, will be Agate. I think Agate should come in for I personally would start Eriksen next to Fernandes and start Agate at CDM, which was, brought in to do. I think Agate should be getting a lot more game time than what he was under Ten Hag. Another player that was disrespected, thrown under the bus, and basically told, you're going to be a bench player. I don't really want to use you. I don't really want you here. I wanted to keep McTominay and I wanted to keep Hannibal Mabry, and they brought you here. Agate was treated badly by Ten Hag. Agate will now get a lot more game time under Ruben Amorim. He will get load of game time. The days of Casemiro and Eriksen should be coming to an end. But I would probably say Casemiro more than Eriksen, because Eriksen's the only other centre attacking midfielder we've actually got. He's the only other player that we've actually got in this team. Because when Mainu's back, Eriksen will be on the bench. When Mount's back, Eriksen will still be on the bench with Mount because Mainu and Fernandes are going to be ahead of both of them. But because we've got injuries to the midfield, the only change I would personally make would be drop Casemiro for Agate and let's make a statement that Agate is the midfielder we want to build that midfield around, because that's the message in the sign and the lines which are coming out of Old Trafford today. That is what we're getting, that Agate was meant to be that midfielder to turn this bloody sinking ships around. Agate was meant to be the one we build this midfield around for the future. And Ten Hag's neglected that. Ten Hag has been naive not to use Agate. I don't know why he doesn't get given the game time to Agate. I don't get it. I'm still struggling to understand today why Agate hasn't been given the game time. And then you've seen a load of fans and a load of supporters then being on Agate's back. That isn't fair. Agate hasn't been given a fucking chance to prove himself because we've got a bloody Wally brain managing this bloody football club. That is the big problem. We've had a Wally brain managing us. We've had a manager who clearly didn't work, clearly was the wrong appointment, and clearly should have never been given the fucking job. And what we're getting today is, this is what happens when you give Erik ten Hag the manager's job. Look what he's done. Look at the mess he's left. And again, another manager who is picking up the other manager's mess. The problem is, with Ruben Amorim coming in, he's got to use this squad. He's got to use these players. I think, for me, any views on Xerxes and his future, is he surely a Ten Hag signing? I think Xerxes was a Ten Hag signing because apparently Ten Hag's unrealistic transfer demands the club didn't want to give him. Again, I still feel in hindsight that Ten Hag wasn't backed properly and wasn't given a proven goal scorer. What is going to be interesting, because Xerxes ain't going to play tomorrow night. I cannot see Xerxes playing. I mean, a lot of people are waxing lyrical. Oh, he got the assist for the Casemiro goal on Sunday. Yeah, whoop-de-doo. I could have done that. But again, we've played 14 games this season. We've played 9 in the league, 3 in the Europa League, 1 in the Carabao Cup, and we've played the Community Shield. 1 goal in 14 games ain't good enough. That is shit. I'm sorry. Signing Xerxes has been a disaster. But what I would find interesting, and it might happen, not betting anything, I'm not, giving any sign of positivity or negativity. What I'm trying to pinpoint now Ruben Amorim is going to come to Manchester United. It would not surprise me if Victor Gyökeres, the Sporting Lisbon striker, Manchester United make a move. It would not surprise me. I wanted him when he was at Coventry. Why we never signed him, I don't get it. Why we never signed a striker that can actually put the ball in the net, I don't actually understand it. Why we never signed Victor Gyökeres in the first place was a massive, massive L. It was a massive mistake, and it's come to bite us hard on the bum cheeks. And this is why I want him here. I think with Ruben Amorim managing us, surely we can get him out of Sporting Lisbon. And do you know what I would do? Right, it's not worked with Joshua Xerxes. That's been a bad signing. That was a massive mistake. It's been a massive L for this football club. Let's do a swap deal. They might do it, and we offer Xerxes money for Gyökeres, and we get Gyökeres in return. That might be a good investment. That might be a signing worth making. But again, he's not really been linked with us. But now Ruben Amorim's come in, that might change very, very quickly. I would love Victor Gyökeres here because at least we've actually got a goal scorer that can put the ball in the back of the net. But that will then piss Rasmus Højlund off. Because if Højlund is in the team and he ain't starting games and he's on the bench for Gyökeres, where does the future then rely for Højlund? That's the problem. And again, Højlund might be amazing under Ruben Amorim. He might be a world-class striker. He might turn into the goal scorer we've all wanted to see. But time will tell. I wouldn't start Xerxes tomorrow, in my view. I would bench him. I would put him on the bench. That's where I think he belongs, because I don't think he's good enough. I don't think, for me, it's really the striker that we need. I hold my hands up when we signed him. Excited, young striker from Serie A. Look how that worked out for Højlund. Did it work? Not really. Is it going to really work? I don't think so. I think we are going to have to realistically look at two prone goal-scoring strikers. I think that's what we're going to need. Because if we don't put the ball in the net tomorrow night and it does go to penalties, you know what it's like for penalty shootouts. we could go out, and if we got the Carabao Cup, it's going to leave a sour taste in their mouth. I think Ruben Amorim doesn't realise the job he's coming in to do. I think there's a big job ahead of him, and I don't want it going wrong. Ineos have got to get this right. Even though I really wanted Nagelsmann, I'm excited by Ruben Amorim. I'm really excited because that manager vibe gives me a Mourinho. It gives me that excitement. He's Portuguese. He's not afraid. Like he gives me that body language of that he's a man manager. That he's going to be able to talk to the players and be open with them and being able to encourage them and being open one-to-one with them. I'm hoping these players will see that, but time will tell. So, I'm excited for the games tomorrow night. It'd be interesting to see how we perform now that Ten Hag's gone. It will just annoy me if we win the game by 6 or 7 goals. That's what will frustrate me. That is what will annoy me if we start performing and we start winning games. Because you're going to have to question all these games before, lads. Where's this been? Why have you not been performing like this? Where have you been hiding this? That's my biggest fear, that all of a sudden, new manager bounce, give it a few games, it will start going pear-shaped again. That's a big worry. That's a big worry in my view. That concerns me a lot, that this might not work. But it's got to work because I think Ruben Amorim is a very, very fantastic manager. He's a fantastic coach. I mean, Sporting Lisbon have scored 30 goals this season, only conceded 3. They're on 27 points. They're dominating the Portuguese league. Like, the football they're playing is fantastic. But you look at the young, hungry players they've got, and that is down to Ruben Amorim. That's down to the quality he's being able to produce with the set of players that he's got. Obviously, it is a massive step up from the Portuguese league to obviously the Premier League. And obviously, Ruben Amorim will want to hit the ground running. I just hope we see these players put in a performance. So, yeah, I don't see Xerxes starting. I think it will be Højlund, Garnacho and Ahmad. Like I said, we've talked about them in the midfield. And then for the defence, unfortunately, again, I think the main key area that we need to improve in January will be the left back, because again, tomorrow, and it's an unfortunate tomorrow that Diego Dalot will be playing at left back again, or we might give Harry Amas a go. I mean, is it time for Harry Amas to start starting games? I mean, it's only the Carabao Cup. This might be a good test to see if Harry Amas is actually ready. Like, I don't understand why, if he's been available for the last few fixtures, why has he not been picked? Why has he not been selected? Why is he not starting games when he's a left back? This might be the perfect opportunity to see, do you know what? This is the left back we've got available. Let's try it. Let's test it. And let's see what he's like, because the ground might swallow him up. The game might be too big, and the opposition he's playing against, he might not be ready for that yet. But it's a huge opportunity to use Harry Amas at left back and drop Dalot to the bench, where I think Dalot should be. I don't think Dalot's good enough. I think the Diego Dalot fan club has gone very quiet the last few days, isn't it? Especially when he missed a sitter of an open goal against West Ham. He was at fault for the first West Ham goal, and then it all went pear-shaped and it all went then downhill, didn't it? Very, very quickly. So, yeah, I would start Harry Amas over Dalot, and that again sends a strong message to Dalot, thinking, you think you're going to fuck us up at left back, you're not doing it anymore. It's got all these problematic players. Their problems are going to have to stop. We're not messing about anymore. This is a sign of change, that if these players think they've won, then you're not going to win. If you think you're going to give up and you think you're going to get away with it and we're going to down tool for the rest of the season, think again. Because I think a lot of these players want Ruud van Nistelrooy to get the job, because, well, if it goes well under Ruud, give him the job like we did with Solskjaer, but give it 2 years. We'll throw him under the bus and then we'll blame him and say it's all his fault. That's the vibe I would get if they would have given Ruud the job. I'm glad he isn't getting it, because I think Ruud's better than this. I think Ruud van Nistelrooy's obviously got a big job to do for tomorrow night. Obviously, it's a big ask for him to go from assistant to interim manager. It is a massive ask. And, I want it to work. I want to see us play well. I want to see us perform. I want to see us take Leicester apart, because these promoted clubs have been shit since they've been back in the Prem. Leicester have been shocking. Southampton have been a disaster. And as for Ipswich Town, they're up and down more than a couple in bed on their wedding night. Like, they're so up and down, these promoted clubs. And I think this is the why this promotion and relegation thing isn't working anymore because the promoted clubs do not stand a chance. They don't have the budgets, they don't have the money, and basically they come up against Man City or Liverpool or Arsenal, Tottenham, Chelsea or us, or even Newcastle and Villa, and they get torn apart. This is the problem with the Championship promotion. The budgets for these clubs coming up to the Prem is a joke. They can't compete. But when they get their parachute payments, they improve their squad for the Championship. They come back to the Prem. That budget ain't there again. They go back down again. Parachute payments go up again. Parachute payments go up again. Parachute payments go down. That's the story from the Championship to the Prem. And that is why I think Leicester will survive. I don't think Leicester will cause any scares, but I don't think Leicester City are going to come to Old Trafford in fear for their lives. I don't think Leicester are going to fear come to Old Trafford and get a result. I don't think Leicester are going to look at Man United thinking, bloody hell, look at them again. What's there to fear? What have we got to lose? Let's go out there and let's try and cause a shock. I think Leicester will go for it. I think Leicester will try and go for it tomorrow. I think Leicester will want to try and put more misery onto Manchester United because these last 2 days have been absolutely hellish, isn't it? It's been a nightmare for this fan base. I feel sorry for the fans. I feel sorry for these supporters. I feel sorry for everybody connected to this football club because it's just an absolute mess, isn't it? It's a disgrace. It's disheartening. It makes you feel sick. It makes you basically want to fucking throw up. It makes you basically, do you know what? What is the point? I come out yesterday thinking, do you know what? I can't be bothered. I was getting that close. I was getting that close saying, I just can't be bothered with Man United anymore. I think, yes, they really hit the nail on the head that I think the club that we all want back in Manchester United, it won't ever be back. It's never going to work no matter what manager we have. I mean, I would have tried to get Sir Alex Ferguson out of retirement. That's what I would have done. But again, it's a huge opportunity to see where these players' morale is at. And if we start playing well, I think it's going to frustrate a lot of us thinking, where has this been? Why have we not been performing like this? Why have we not been showing this type of level? Why have we not been showing this type of football that we can play? And I think a lot of the anger will be on the players. I think the mood is going to be very sober tomorrow night. I think the mood is going to be very low. I think the mood for the fan supporters will be very concerned about where we're trying to go. I think it's going to be worrying for where the expectation levels are. It's going to be interesting to see what this Man United team can do under Ruud van Nistelrooy because it's a tale of the new. Like I said, life after Erik ten Hag begins. Like we are on a new wavelength. We are on a new direction. And it'd be interesting to see what Ruud van Nistelrooy's ideas he's got across in the training today to take into tomorrow's game. Because Ruud van Nistelrooy will want to get a win. He'll want to get that win for the fans and supporters because he cares. I think Ruud van Nistelrooy cares a lot about this football club and he cares about how we all feel. I think he cares about the way it's been. I think he sees the frustration. He sees everything that we all see, that United have been simply nowhere near good enough. And I think he wants to show to the world that, you know what, I'm not Ten Hag. I'm completely different. I'm going to do the job I've been asked to on an interim basis, but when it's time to go, I'll go. I mean, it would be nice to keep Ruud van Nistelrooy in some capacity and work alongside Ruben Amorim in his coaching setup. And, you know, that might work. We might keep Ruud and say, do you know what? We don't really want to get rid of you. We want to keep you working here. We'll get you a job working alongside Ruben Amorim's coaching staff, and he'll be able to coach you, and you'll be able to learn from him. And we might be able to get you a job in another club in the future as a manager. Because if Ruud van Nistelrooy's got all these credentials, like everybody's saying he has, then it's a good sign that you've got a good coach in the making, where ready to take it to the next step. But you know, it's a big step from assistant coach to interim manager, and he's got to get it right tomorrow, because if we go out, I think it will be on the team, it will be on the players. I will not blame Ruud van Nistelrooy if we lose tomorrow night. I will not blame him. It's not his fault. He's been put under the situation by the football club, the players, and obviously Ineos. And if it goes wrong, it will be on Ineos. I would blame Ineos for tomorrow night if we don't win, because they should have sacked Ten Hag sooner rather than later. They've left it way too late, in my view. Ten Hag should have been gone way before this, because the season was gone. They should have sacked him after the FA Cup final. So, do you know what? You've won the FA Cup, but sorry to say, you're no longer going to be the manager. But all I can say is, let's see where we are tomorrow night. Let's see where Manchester United are. Let's see where these players are at. Let's see what Ruud van Nistelrooy can do. I mean, scoreline, I'm going to go 3 or 4-0. I think that's at least the expectation of the outcome tomorrow. But it wouldn't surprise me Leicester City come to Old Trafford and weep more misery onto Manchester United's fans and supporters. So I hope you enjoyed this live look ahead. Please hit the like button and the share button. Please keep subscribing to the channel, United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Share the video, hit the tweet button, hit the retweet button, and to always remember, if you put the notification bell on, we've got all these brand new videos, shorts, live content for the last 2 months in 2024 this year for November and December. We want to get all of you more involved. So, be part of the channel and the community if you want to. You're all welcome on here. No one will ever be made to feel to be left out. You're all welcome to be part of this. And please join us on this journey because it's an exciting one. And then obviously, please join me for the full-time reaction tomorrow night from the Carabao Cup fourth round between Manchester United and Leicester City from Old Trafford. And let's hope Ruud van Nistelrooy goes out on a bang. Let's hope we can get that win. Let's hope we can get some confidence and morale back into the players. And let's see where we are. But Leicester could cause a shock. I'm not saying they will, but they could. So let's see what happens. Enjoy your Tuesday evening. Enjoy your week. Stay safe, be nice, and be kind to each other. You're all legends. You're all legendary. I will see you all on the next one.